The Beatles are one of the most influential and important bands in history, creating and shaping the current landscape of music. From Liverpool to the Shea Stadium in New York, the group evolved and changed in only 8 short years, going from your run-of-the-mill pop rock group to a more thought-provoking, inward-focused psychedelic rock band. The band set new standards for the music industry, from the blues-inspired Rubber Soul, the LSD trip of Revolver, or the return to form Abbey Road. The Beatles have made an incredible impact on the world of music. The Beatles started as a small rock and roll group in Liverpool, consisting of Paul McCartney, Pete Best, George Harrison, and John Lennon, and Stuart Sutcliffe. They bounced names around, the Quarrymen, the Silver Beatles, before finally settling on just the Beatles. Shortening the band down to 4 members, Stuart decided to leave the Beatles early to pursue his passion in art and painting. At this time, the Beatles have been playing at small venues, until one night playing in the Star Club in Hamburg, Germany, put them in touch with Brian Epstein. He soon became their manager, firing Pete Best and replacing him with Ringo Starr. This was the start of the early rock and roll phase, creating With the Beatles and Please Please Me. The Beatles had become quite popular in Europe, but they sought to expand outward. Their appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show made the Beatles explode in popularity over in North America, with albums like A Hard Day's Night, Help, and Beatles for Sale being chart toppers. Americans were hooked, creating Beatlemania. The Beatles paved the way for other bands, such as the Rolling Stones, the Kinks, and the Who trickling down, creating the British Invasion. Mop-top hairstyles, collarless suits, and color were beginning to make their way into America, caused by the Beatles. Around the release of Rubber Soul, however, is where things started to get more artistic for the music the Beatles were playing. They started using sitars and more unique instruments, and promoted more inward-focused lyrics. This is known as the psychedelic era, key albums being Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and the self-titled White Album, featuring songs such as Norwegian Wood, Strawberry Fields, and Blackbird. This continues until around 1969, with Abbey Road being their final album, the band dissolving after Brian Epstein died of a drug overdose on August 27, 1967. The decline after Epstein died was apparent, the band members being done with their project. The Beatles split off at this time, each going their own separate ways. John Lennon became a political solo artist, being assassinated in 1980. George Harrison also had a successful solo career, his album All Things Must Pass being a critically acclaimed solo album. He started handmade films, most notable of his funded projects being Monty Python's Life of Brian. He died in 2001 after being diagnosed with lung cancer. Ringo Starr pursued mostly an acting position, playing in films like The Magic Christian. He also had a rich musical career afterward, releasing 18 solo studio albums, playing drums on John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band, and working with Paul McCartney on many of his projects. Paul McCartney has an incredibly successful solo career, formed Wings, and still sells out venues today, even making a song for the James Bond movie Live and Let Die, the song of the same name being incredibly popular even today.